A journey anew, travelling into worlds unknown, towns, villages, cities, some with some impressive architecture and locations. Let's try to, well, not forget, but put the thought of what is leaving out of our minds, because there's another task at hand. Saving his father, saving whatever hell difficulty they're having over there. But at least, from what we saw, teleportation isn't all bad. Cutting down a journey to mere months instead of years. That would be quite helpful here. Even driving half an hour seems a little too much to me. But how many troubles are they going to encounter on the journey only over to the other group? Elise is suffering from her curse. Cliff's advice not exactly helping entirely. Some painful conversations to be had down the line there. But we know, if nothing else, the shift away from the family life, the school element that we've seen, back into adventure? Well, I'm all for it. So, sit down, grab yourself a drink, so we can begin. How does a creature even get that large? Thinking about the eons past where creatures like that may have actually existed. Where else to gather some information carved into the side of a big rock mountain? Well, Paul probably has some. Well, that was quick. I was also going to say, yeah, Paul probably has made some enemies along the way anyway, who knew who he was. How the hell did you get here so fast? Somehow they just knew and had to come rushing over. I mean, kind of prepared for that. They need to have a bit of a reunion. It's been a while since he last saw him. Was it a compliment? They're old acquaintances. What kind of state is Paul in, though? If he has been struggling for 6 months since sending a letter basically calling for help, is he going to be spiraling to a form of depression? His own, weakness for having to rely on his son? Or am I not giving him enough credit? Is it going to snap back to the little household that was left behind, considering Aisha is now the one that is essentially taking care of the house? I am kind of worried about what's actually going to be this regret that Hitagami was talking about. But please, be kind. Just, it is time of need right now. Yeah, hold it off as much as you can. He won't punch him in the face unless he needs it. Can he even gather the strength to raise himself up? I suppose. Give him a quick slap, let him know that it's definitely him. Yep. The realms of normalcy don't apply to Rudy. Has he even been eating? He seems quite weak. Wow. That's how badly he's doing. He was on the brink. Yep. Even if they're not able to save Zenith, it might have saved Paul. That's quite some big words there. And some news, by the way. And now, yeah, the tables have turned to the tale of time itself. Is he going to apologize? Kick off a fight? Everyone being slightly apprehensive, then there's just Geese. Apologizing fervently with no sense of oh. Well, I suppose they can carry on from here then. She had no plans for forgiveness there, but seeing him so sincere might have actually done something well for his character. They're just made up, remember? Don't make a bad situation. Huh? They're getting on well. He deserves some praise, that man. Doesn't take much. But what a little gathering they've got. They've got a fighting force that might be worth something. But what was the issue? How did this information come about? How do they know she's been in there? They know nothing other than she's in the labyrinth. Went missing a few months back. There are plenty of things I could think of that could have happened, and if it wasn't for the opening, I'd be considering some things. If they've seen her recently after going missing for 3 years, are there undead in this world? That might be a neat story. He has an impressive beard. I mean, got to inspect. That's another issue. With sullen faces. It's a question that you don't want to ask. Having someone that he adored for so long put her as some pedestal. I love the fact that he is zoning out right now. This is, faced with extreme news and facts like this, blanking, not being able to hear what's going on. This is done quite well. Let's get back to the case at hand. If she's missing, stuck there, if she's worse, still need to face the labyrinth. There's a certain book which might come in useful here. Yeah, why the hell do you have this? Quite fortuitous. Bill spider thing. That's a neat looking golem. He's cracked it? They've been stumbling around blind, testing it, till failure. Of course, the genius that Rudy is, bringing in some help like that. More than that, she was doing her best there, being looking after the house. And she gets a stipend for it. Speaking so well of Aisha there. It's been a while since he's been able to have a moment like this. Yeah, this is a story to go over, isn't it? Do you remember a certain little green-haired elf? That face. A little bit of weight off their shoulders there. Someone else they know that actually made it. He would, have been there for him as well? Actually knowing about his situation and apologising for it on point. Paul has gone through so much and he seems a little reliable now. That's the least he could do. As long as he doesn't make Rudy pay for it. Meaning? It's a big moment for him, apparently. Yeah, anyone else other than Paul might be a help here. The hard questions, right? Some things are best left unsaid. Oh, so it definitely wasn't his fault. She could always leave the room if she wasn't being embarrassed. But a bit of calm before the storm, having a conversation like that, catching up with them, having a father-son moment where they can just cut loose a little. Much needed in his life, considering he didn't have much with his actual parents back on Earth. Because they may activate underfoot when you're not expecting it. That's a neat... Are you going into... He's fast. But I guess after being in this labyrinth for so long, trying to get to the bottom of it, trying to rescue, he's a little used to it. Hopefully he wasn't just trying to show off. After the... How shameful he must have felt for himself after their interaction back at the guild. And getting a little too comfortable. Fucking geese in the background again. He's like, I've been missing this. Is this really the time for this conversation? There was a spider that just attacked you, remember? Someone has to. Oh yeah, the whole granddaughter being married to Rudy situation. Is it because all the webbing is... I was going to say flammable, but... Good thing he has some earth magic he can use there. Oh, really? I thought it was some actual just like poison the spiders emit, but no. Carbon monoxide. That makes sense. Wow, not knowing about the principles of fire and stuff like that. Still working out carbon monoxide and its effects on the body. They've wiped out a hive of those things. Pity there doesn't seem to be any like usable materials that they're gathering or anything. No need to hold hands on this circle. How long is it going to take them to get to the 6th strata? But what? Now that danger is actually kind of up there, and it only gets worse from here on out. It's been a few days, though. Which, much like the cutting down on the journey time even getting here, they're not, just wandering around without a plan or hope. Can he feel her? You know, take some knowledge from that shrine he built. She's been close to him all these years. Blast through the rock? We're taking a shortcut. Shit. A veritable army against her. They've been facing spiders as a group. If this is what she's been doing for days. To be fair, instant freeze of the surrounding area. She hasn't got the gist of chantless casting, but seeing her in action holding this off... Oh, the monsters themselves are teleporting in. And they are not relenting. Christ. And now her wall has been damaged. Careful with that monoxide. Does she have much left in her? Not only to... in the ways of MP or whatever, how this works in this world, but just... There you go. Just in mental strength and courage. Oh. Let's see if they arrive too late. Who could have cast such impeccable magic? She must be dead. There's no other explanation for it. What a save. And majestic at that. All the ice and the lighting shining from it. A good thing they put it into his mind, you know. Can you sense her? Would he have thought about it otherwise? But part one of the rescue plan at least somewhat succeeded, managing to get to Roxy before anything happened. Why the monsters are continuously using the teleportation circle to come in and assault her? Is there someone taking control, taking lead of them, giving them orders to chase him down? Because they did seem rather organised, those creatures. But after a nice long rest, there's going to be some interesting conversation with her. This is pretty much exactly what I wanted in an episode, having the reuniting of the characters and realizing, how much they've missed out on each other's lives. They've not had the time to really understand everything that they've been through. Or, even possibly have normal lives considering the teleportation incident. But Paul missing out on so much of his son's life and not even knowing, not only that he got married, found Sylvie again, but is now expecting a child. They've got a lot to celebrate after this is over. If they get there. I mean, there was so much good that came out of it. Paul making up with Elena Lise. And now coming across Roxy and getting her out of the danger she was in. Something is going to hit the fan, and hit it hard. And, while a bit... I always pointed out when it's a little on the nose and a bit corny, but saving someone at the last moment when they're about to be struck... I like the times where there's jokes. One of my favourites is in Time Splitters Future Perfect PS2 game. Perfect. It was saving someone from on the train tracks, stopping the train just in time, only for the camera to pull back and then nowhere near. Subverting the at the last moment saviour. I hoped we would get something like that, but no. We just got a nice moment of danger. Rudy stepping in, being the, once again, like with Paul, flipping the tables. Now, Rudy is the powerful mage, the one standing above all. For Roxy to look up to. And probably learn a thing or two. Can she now get wordless chanting? Would be useful. But I just thought, if there is a danger of suffocation because of carbon monoxide poisoning, if you can create a bubble of air around you as like a protected circle, bubble, can he drain all of the air out of a cave and therefore suffocate the monsters while keeping the party safe? Is that a new battle tactic, using physics and chemistry to your own benefit? And I do like that immediately after apologising sincerely, getting down and wanting forgiveness, Paul goes straight back into normal character and they start bickering. I mean, they can't change a habit of a lifetime. There's so much to learn still, and when the news gets out that, Elena Lise is Sylvie's grandmother, therefore, congrats, the family reunion has gotten larger. But what else is Rudy going to pull out of that bag of his? Having a book that is too perfect for the situation that they are in. How many more secrets is he going to stumble across? How many fortunate events which are seemingly placed into his lap? As long as the man god or the dragon god or anyone else doesn't just appear in frame, things might at least somewhat be somewhat smooth for the time being. Ignoring the fact the mother's still missing in this labyrinth. But after her ordeal, is Roxy going to be escorted back up and out of the labyrinth and let her recover, or travel with the party now as they delve deeper? What would be safer? Lose a couple of members getting them up and out? Or stay as one big group while she's exhausted? Both have their drawbacks. To find out, we may have to watch the next episode, which I am eagerly anticipating. So, if you want to make sure not to miss out, consider subscribing to the channel. If I've entertained you today, or if you just like the episode in itself without me present, let me know down below. Maybe even like the video. But for now, get yourself some rest. You never know what we'll come across. And if it's some of the lighting that we saw in this episode and the meaning behind it, we can look forward to some good things. So I'll see you for the next one. I want to thank each and every one of my patrons, because while I don't know if they'd go rushing into a labyrinth for me, I know that at least my channel is somewhat safe thanks to all the loopholes and teleportation sigils they've put down. So, if you would like to help me beef up the security of my channel, consider joining onto my Patreon as well, and join the ranks of Sal, Guado, Kite, Wolfie Sensei, and everyone else.